So let's talk about content gap analysis. Now, maybe you've heard of this term. I was blissfully unaware of this term until I started doing research for creating this course a while back. And I found that a lot of people use this term content gap analysis, and I find that there's so much diversity in how people use the term that it's hard to tell exactly what it means just from that. So there's a couple of basic ways. If you're online, you see somebody say, oh, content gap analysis is great. There's a couple different ways that can be interpreted. Some authorities apply this to filling gaps in your own website based on need. And here's an article. It's a good article, but it's talking about that basically. And this little diagram here shows kind of their approach. And that is on the left, content you have, on the right, content consumers want. And if you don't have anything that consumers want, then you have or very little, then you have a content gap and you need to fill it in order to attract those users. Now, here's another take. This is by Brian Dean, who's pretty well known in SEO circles. And I'm quoting from his article. Looks like I forgot to put the link in here. I'll put the link in before I create the PDF. But basically what he said was he used as an example that he was creating some content on link building, on the topic of link building. So he was looking at what could I do for a subtopic? So, or even how could I make my link building topic better? And he noticed, and this is just from going down, clicking on each of the posts, which to me is pretty time consuming, that he says most of the content was outdated, lacking examples and details, and hard to understand. In other words, those were the three gaps that I could fill with my content. So in this case, he's looking at it from the standpoint of the search results aren't necessarily addressing certain needs. That is a gap. That's how he's thinking of it. And so he could, for example, do in his content, it would by definition, of course, if it's new, it's going to be fresh, but then he could put in examples and details. He could put in things that make it easier to understand. Now, the thing that probably, because the analyst in me is a little bit, I don't know, not so attracted to this strategy because it's total guesswork. It doesn't tell you that Google is trying to rank content like that. So I would probably be more prone to looking at content. Oh, there's the link, actually. I would probably be more prone to looking at some of the other content, the other methods that we explored for finding new content.